Have you ever added up everything that you've been able to give away?
My fear is that if I kept a tote board on it, kept all the, a record of who I gave it to and what I thought it was for, and then the total dollars, that I would somehow become puffed up in myself and start thinking I was something I wasn't. I don't want it to be for recognition. It's nice to receive thanks. We all like to and get pats on the back, but that's not why we do it. It's the satisfaction that comes from knowing you've done a little bit of good in the world. I really, truly do feel grateful that I'm in a situation to be able to do something. Prior to getting to a point where I did, when we were first starting out in business, I remember having fear of failure and what happens if we go broke. And I remember also having thoughts about wanting to do things like we're doing now philanthropically. And those, of course, were at kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. But I remember worrying about if I ever got to a point where I could, if I was that successful financially, would it change who I was then? And I didn't want it to change. I wanted to still keep money in perspective and still want to help people where I could. And I want to be careful that this doesn't come out wrong, but one of the things I'm grateful in my life is that I feel I still have those same values, still have the same things that drive me. I just have greater capability now, and so it's kind of fun exercising that.
From the Boys and Girls Club to the Community Center, and even a simple check to I Care for Kids can help so many in need.
We were so glad and just thrilled when we received the check from the Larry Miller Charities that enabled 100 children to get an eye examination and eyeglasses. And some of these children had never had these services before.
Nicole is a student in my classroom, and she tries so hard and she's working so hard. She has been having a hard time seeing the board. She was able to get some glasses donated, and we are so excited for her. She's so happy and she loves her glasses and she wants to do well, and she's doing her best now.
Larry loves getting the wives involved also, like this Jazz Wife cookbook for charity.
This group has been so gracious in sharing their recipes, and also we went into the jazz management area and we did coaches as well as players. There's a little glimpse into their life. They have their favorite book, their favorite movie, their favorite food, their favorite vacation place, and sometimes they told a little bit about their recipes.
It's great for us with the time that we have to be able to give back and to do something nice for everybody else.
Carlos doesn't cook. He can't boil water, so he loves to eat, as you can tell, because he's a big guy. He's not starving.
There are numerous well-publicized visits to hospitals by jazz players, to pushing youngsters in an effort to read to achieve, and of course, involving Jazz Bear in all kinds of wonderful activities, including buying Christmas presents for children as part of Sub for Santa. It is all part of the atmosphere initiated, instilled, and carried on by Larry H. Miller.
Do you ever get overwhelmed, though, by the need that's out there?
Absolutely, all the time. I go home at night probably once a week or twice a week, depending on what's happened during the day, and I say to Gail, the scary part is there's so much need. It never stops, and it's legitimate. You look at people that need, liver transplants and medical procedures of different kinds that there's no way they can afford $250,000 to $300,000. And how do you place a value on a life? And there's so many of those even within our community, and on educational needs and health needs. And I think for me, because our system and our company is set up for us to receive a lot of requests on those needs, that I probably have an opportunity to see more than most people would, more of the needs. And the challenge there is not to get to a point where it becomes so overwhelming that you just think, why try? Because I can't solve all the problems and fix them all, but I can solve some. And I think to the extent we can, we have to be able to say, I did what I could. Because all of us can do something. The one thing I've got to find a way to do that I haven't been able to find a way that I feel is effective yet is to do more good for the homeless. in a permanent way. For example, I've looked at doing different kind of housing things, some way, and I want to be careful here, but we do some things through the food bank and some other things like that from time to time, and things that affect the homeless and the hungry. But I feel like I've got to find a way that creates a more permanent solution to some of the problems.
In his own words, Larry H. Miller wants to be a bridge builder. For his employees who've been with him for 25 years or longer, each receives this, a commissioned bronze bridge. It's a concept, he says, that he and his wife live by and that he hopes his children understand. Building bridges to help individuals, organizations, schools, and communities. It is Larry H. Miller's life. And in a drawer underneath each bridge, there is a poem, The Bridge Builder. And it's a poem which offers yet another glimpse inside this giant of a gentle human being. Would you do me a favor? Would you just take a deep breath and read that for me?
Sure. The Bridge Builder by Will Allen Dromgoole. An old man going a lone highway came in the evening cold and gray to a chasm vast and deep and wide, through which was flowing a sullen tide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim, the sullen stream had no fears for him, but he turned when safe on the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. Old man, said a fellow pilgrim near, you are wasting strength with building here. Your journey will end with the ending day. You never again must pass this way. You have crossed the chasm deep and wide. Why build you the bridge at eventide? The builder lifted his old gray head. Good friend, in the path I have come, he said. There followeth after me today a youth whose feet must pass this way. This chasm that has been naught to me, to that fair-haired youth, may a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I'm building this bridge for him. Which kind of says it all.
That's beautiful.